And just
Hello,
let me know.
everyone, and welcome back. This is our second bonus session with Bob Bly. Today, he's going to talk to us about writing and selling ebooks for fun and profit on the Internet. Specifically, we're going to look at the selling process. Once again, if you have any questions, please pop them into the Q&A, send to all panelists, and we'll queue them up for Bob. And any technical issues, please use the chat and send to host. Bob, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Denise?
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about this selling process. Presuming these ladies and gentlemen, these copywriters have written an ebook, what's going to happen?
Well, I called this session How to Write and Sell Ebooks for Fun and Profit on the Internet because a lot of people, writers and non-writers, have written ebooks. But then I say, well, how do you sell it? And the answer is, I don't know. In other words, they have produced an ebook that's either in the Kindle format or more commonly as a PDF document, and they have it, and they spend a lot of time writing it, but they don't know how to sell it. So in this session, we want to talk about how do you take that PDF file, that content, and obviously content is the modern word for information, and how do you get people to pay you for it? And there are more than one way, there's more than one way to do that. A lot of Internet marketers use a certain method, which I'm going to go into. I use it, and AWAI uses it, and we both copied it from Agora Publishing, who is a big user of it. So let's take a look at how that works. First, to succeed in Internet marketing, and ebook marketing is Internet marketing. You don't sell ebooks in Barnes & Noble. You sell them on the Internet. And the 4 skills needed for Internet information marketing are content creation. You have to be able to write and design the ebook and put it into a PDF file or a proper Kindle file format. You have to be able to write copy. There are a number of pieces of copy you need to make and generate the ebook sales. You have to do marketing. You have to know the selling methods. Where do you put this copy? In what order do you present it? What's the call to action for it? And then there are the technical aspects. How do you put up a website that's promoting your ebook? I mean, how do you physically do that? Do you write computer code? Do you use HTML? Do you use Dreamweaver or Front Page? How do you take orders online? How do you get a merchant account for MasterCard? How do you set up a shopping cart where someone can place an order online? Once they order, how do you deliver the PDF to them? So that's technical aspects. And what I tell people, which I think is good news for everybody listening, is as an AWA member or writer, you already have a leg up on everyone else on number 1, number 2, and number 3, because you're writers, so you know how to write how-to informational material. You know how to express ideas. You're an AWAI student, so you know how to write persuasively, you know, copywriting. And in learning copywriting through the AWAI 6-figure course and other programs, you've learned a lot of marketing. So you can do all this, and this is a huge advantage, because one of the things that keeps people out of the ebook business is the daunting startup cost. It's expensive to hire a copywriter to do a landing page, and we'll discuss what that is, but it's a website if you can't write it yourself. There's a cost involved in hiring a ghostwriter to write your ebook if you can't or don't want to write it yourself. So by doing these things, number 1, 2, and 3, you save a lot of money and you save a lot of time. You can move your project along much faster. Now here's the key on number 4, the technical stuff, I've checked off, as you see, that it should be outsourced. I strongly, not only should it be outsourced, but I am strongly against you doing it yourself. And the reason is, it's not what my colleague, internet marketer Fred Gleek, calls the highest and best use of your time. I get calls all the time from AWAI members who say, well, what template would you recommend for doing HTML emails? You know, what software do you recommend for sending out your newsletters? And I say, don't get involved in any of this. Outsource, hire others to do it for you. In today's world, where everyone is linked by through the internet, you can hire techies anywhere in the world, and that includes India and the Philippines, where my technical team resides, and you can get what you need at an amazingly low cost. So it's a waste of your time to do the technical stuff, and you should outsource it, in my opinion. There are 5 things you will need to make $200,000 a year online in net passive income selling ebooks. Number 1, I strongly recommend that you have an e-newsletter. And if you look at the check mark, you can write that. Number 2, you must have an e-list, a list of people who have opted in and agreed to get emails from you. And you can build that yourself, and we'll look at how. Actually, the topic of list building, we will cover more in next week's session, the 3rd bonus session, where we devote the entire session to list building. Number 3, you need ebooks. You need products. You can either create your own products. You can find products in the public domain, in other words, that have no copyright on them, that you can take and resell. Or you can, as an affiliate marketer, resell other people's ebooks to your customers. But you need some products to sell someone. Number 4, you need emails to send to your e-list, which is number 2. You need emails, number 4, to send to your e-list, number 2, to entice them to buy the ebook. And number 5, you need landing pages, which, as we'll see in a minute, are mini websites. They're short, I won't say short, they're simple websites that are, in essence, advertisements for your ebooks. And while you may choose to have a master website for your business, each ebook will have its own website. So it's one landing page, one mini website or microsite per product that you have. And again, these are things, all things that you can write at a tremendous cost savings compared with what your competitors have, which is to hire other people, sometimes people like you, since a lot of you are copywriters or ghostwriters, to do it. Number 1, you need an e-newsletter. Some of you on the call may get my e-newsletter, others may not. All of you on the call get AWAI e-newsletters, so you're familiar with the concept. And an e-newsletter is just what the name implies, it's a newsletter, but E means it's online, there's no paper newsletter, and it goes out to subscribers who are on a list. And again, we'll talk about how to build that list a little bit in a minute here, and then in much more detail next week. But you publish it at some regular schedule. This newsletter that you see, which is my what we call our standard newsletter, is monthly. But we have supplemental emails that go out to my list frequently between monthly issues. It's free. The e-newsletter is always free because you're not trying to make money selling a subscription to the newsletter. You are trying to make money selling other products to your newsletter list so that nobody pays for the newsletter. My newsletter has 65,000 subscribers. Some lists are much bigger. I think the Motley Fool has 1.2 million or something like that subscribers. Agora Publishing e-list, it may be around 500,000. Mark Ford's Early to Rise, which he sold at one point, had, I believe, 400,000 subscribers. And other people have success with much smaller lists. I meet a lot of writers that have 20,000 or 25,000 or 10,000 names. And Seth Godin, the internet marketing pundit, has said that if you can have a list of 10,000 loyal subscribers who spend money with you, you can make a very, very nice living. The question that's come up from Marty is, do you include information in your e-newsletter that is identical to some of the information in your e-book, or do you always need something new but related? The answer is you certainly can give a short, simple preview of what is in your e-book. You can take a tip, extract, let's say, a simple tip. And my newsletter, as you see, you see a little bit of it here, has short articles, just a few paragraphs each. So you certainly can extract a tip or idea or a factoid or an information tidbit from your e-book and publish it in your newsletter. And then, of course, at the end, I would say if you're interested in to see more about this book, or to, my language would be, if you like this tip, there's dozens more in my ebook, whatever the title is, and you can download it risk-free for 90 days by clicking on this website. So I give them a link to the landing page or the microsite where the ebook is. Having said that, I don't tend to do that a lot. I tend to find just interesting tidbits of information that come across my desk. Most of them come across my email from a variety of sources, and excerpt them and put them into my newsletter. And I put anything that's interesting and useful related to my niche area, which is marketing. So that's how I find content for the newsletter. So here's how I set up my e-newsletter. Each issue has between 5 to 7 articles. They are very short, as you can see here. They're usually 1 to 3 paragraphs each. Because they're so short, you can read each one of them in less than a minute. So if we have, 5, 6, or 7, you can read the whole issue in about 5 minutes. There are no click links to other stories. You get the whole story in the newsletter. We don't give you 2 paragraphs and then say, click here for the rest of the article. You get the whole article in the newsletter, and people like that because it saves them time and effort. We do have links in the newsletter that give more information about a topic. Like you see this article here, upcoming speaking engagement, where I tell about that I'm going to be speaking at some event, and then we give a link where you can find out more about the event and register if you want to see me. So that's how I format my e-newsletter. There are many different ways to do a newsletter, and no way is right or wrong. This is just the format that I use for my monthly letter, and I like it, and it works. Here's, went in the wrong way. I apologize. Then building the e-list, and this is the big part of it. What you have to do is drive traffic to a page, and you see in this diagram in the middle there's a black box with the white letters, free e-zine. You have to create a page on the web where people can sign up to get your e-newsletter for free. That's really easy. And then, if you look at all the yellow ovals, you use a variety of means to drive traffic to your free e-zine subscription page. and you can see some of the ways you can do it. We look at the list at the top, very top of the page, blogging. To the right of that, social networking. You can do it on Google Plus or Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can put articles in your blog and drive them to the readers to the newsletter page. There are many ways, other ways to do it. You can optimize your website for search engines, and you can see that oval toward the left. You can use email marketing to a rented list or a list that someone else allows you to use. And when we talk about list building, I'll show you that specific technique in detail, how to use email to get subscribers. We won't cover it in detail today, but you can use email to drive traffic to that free e-zine page. You can use postcards. Some people go offline to do online marketing. Banner ads work, as you see on the left. You can have banner ads offering your free e-newsletter. Pay-per-click ads, Bing or Google AdWords. You can also use Facebook ads, which are becoming increasingly popular. At the top, below blogging, you can use what's called a co-registration, which again, I will show you in detail in the third session in a week. We won't cover that now. So there's a lot of different ways you can drive traffic to your free e-newsletter page. Now, when you drive traffic to that free e-newsletter page, those names become, if you follow your eye down toward the bottom where it says in black and white, House E-List, those names who opt into your e-newsletter say in essence, I want your e-newsletter, and in exchange, here is my email address and my permission to send me whatever emails you like. That's the deal you make with them for them to get your free e-newsletter. And that becomes what we call your house file or your house e-list. And now you notice at the bottom two blue ovals. One says ads in free e-zine on the left, and on the right it says solo promotional email. The way you get people on your house list now that you have those names to buy something from you is you put a blurb or ad about a product you want to sell in your regular newsletter, or you send an email to your newsletter list that is not your regular newsletter, but is a solo email, and that all it does is sell and promote one product, the one you are trying to sell. And those are the two basic ways that you make sales to your house list. And that is what we call the Agora model. If all this is a little complicated, again, relax. Next week, when we talk about list building, we will revisit this and look at it in more detail. But basically,
Bob,
yes.
Before you go on, we did have just a couple of quick questions on this lovely diagram of yours.
Sure.
JV stands for joint venture.
Joint venture. So, for example, you could do a joint venture, or what some people call an affiliate deal. Some people use them synonymously, although technically an affiliate deal has a very specific meaning. A joint venture could be broader, but you could basically say to someone, hey, why don't you send an email to your list selling my ebook, and for every one of your people on your list that buys my ebook, I'll give you a commission. When they do that, you get for everyone who buys from their list and buys your product from their list, not only do you get the order, the $20 or $40 you're selling the ebook for, you also now own that name as one of your own customers. So joint ventures or affiliate deals are a great way to build your house e-list.
Yes, and Sarah says, looking at this diagram, looks like you have a master site with the squeeze page, and for SEO purposes along with the microsites. Is that correct?
I wouldn't call the squeeze page, the free e-zine page, a master site. I'm going to show it in a minute. And it is a very short, simple, and sweet order form, in essence, for that free e-newsletter that is not really SEO friendly because there's so little on it. I have three things. Number one, I have what you'd call the squeeze page or the sign-up page, which we'll look at. Number 2, I have a landing page or a microsite for each of my ebooks, which we'll look at. And neither of those things are terribly well optimized because Google doesn't rate those things very highly because they're selling something. Then you can access all that from my master website, which is at bly.com, and that site is search engine optimized and therefore gets a fair amount of traffic. You might ask me how much. I don't have the statistic in front of me. I should probably go gather that and give that to you, but you know, it has many thousands, tens of thousands of visits per month.
Excellent. And just quickly before you go on, do you also allow access to archived e-newsletters?
I do, or I was. I'm not sure we're keeping up with it, but it's a good idea to do so because if that content is posted on your website, Google will rank your website higher because it is content, and Google likes that.
Yeah. Okay, pressing forward.
Yes. Now, we talked about that sign-up page for the newsletter. This is the top of it. Some people call this a free-on-free squeeze page. And what that means is, in order to get people to sign up for your free newsletter, you offer them something else free, a bribe. You offer them a free report, a free CD, a free webinar, usually some content at no charge, maybe access to an online tool. And it sounds silly. Why would you have to give someone something free to give them something free? And the reason is that people are bombarded by offers to subscribe to my e-zine today. And so they are, in the beginning of internet marketing, if you offered a free e-newsletter, people would jump on it because you were getting this great free thing. But now people always, you hear everyone complain, I get too many emails, I get too many e-newsletters. You know, people will periodically cancel them just to cut down on what's coming in their inbox. So to get someone to sign up for yet another, you have to offer them a bribe. And what I do is, some people offer a special report. I offer four free special reports. When you sign up for my e-newsletter, you get an email sent by an autoresponder with links to 4 PDFs of 4 of my special reports. And here it shows get 4 free special reports from Bob Bly, worth over $100. Now, the list price on the reports is $29 each, and that is not made up. We actually sell them for that price on my website. If you go to bly.com and click on reports at the bottom, you'll see they're all for sale on a shopping cart. And a reason I picked 5 is that 4 times 29 is 116. It would allow me to say worth over $100. So it sounds like a valuable bribe. So if you go to bly.com/reports after this presentation, you can see the live free-on-free squeeze page or the newsletter sign-up page. And this is what you must create to get people to subscribe to your newsletter. Next, as we said, you need products. We're selling information products here, and today we're talking about ebooks. But it doesn't have to be an ebook. Information products, there are many other types of information products you can sell. Listed here, ebooks, traditional paper and hardcover books, teleseminars, webinars, online classes, membership sites, product licensing, which we won't cover today, audio CDs and videos, DVDs, seminars, boot camps like AWAI has once a year, coaching services, consulting, copywriting. You know, there are lots of products and services you could sell to your e-list beyond ebooks. But ebooks is the basic one we're talking about today. So here was, this slide is a little old. I took it out of an older presentation, so the numbers are a little bit updated. Since we made this, we sold well over 1,000 copies of this ebook for gross sales of about $45,000. But here's a typical ebook. You can find it at its landing page, freelancewritingprofits.com. It's 133 pages, more or less. We change it a lot, so I might not be 100% sure of that, but it's in that size range. It's a downloadable PDF file. What's interesting is this was my first ebook, and when someone told me to go, Bob, you should be selling ebooks, I was too lazy to sit down and actually write an ebook from scratch. So what I did is I looked in my file drawers and I found a bunch of columns on how to make money as a freelance writer, which is one of my topics, that I had published in Writer's Digest magazine, WD. And they had actually paid me for these 10 columns $7,500, $750 per column, to write them. So I had already made $7,500 on this content, but I owned it, and so now I was just repackaging it and selling it again. I put a cover price on it of $39. The cost per unit is $0 because it's an there's overhead involved, of course. For example, the website Freelance Writing Profits has to be hosted each month and has a domain name I pay for each year. So there's overhead, but the cost per unit sold is $0. It's an electronic transmission of a PDF document. So the profit margin when you take away the overhead is 100%. So profit per sale is $39. We sold well over 1,000, and we're at about $45,000 in gross revenues. And the product development, my only cost was I paid a graphic artist $175 to take these articles and put them into a simple black and white, very unglamorous ebook. And so before I hit 1,000 copies, I had already gotten a 21,940% return on my investment in the first 3 years after I launched this. Of course, now it's higher. And so that's an example of my first ebook. And I still sell it actively today. And it is one of my, it's a good seller. It's not my best seller, but it's a good seller. You notice when you look at the cover of it, it says includes 3 free bonus reports. And it lists the titles: Big Bucks from Annual Report Writing, 12 Ways to Increase Your Article Sales, How to Make Money Writing Speeches, they're actually bound into the PDF. They're part of the PDF, but we label them as 3 separate reports because we added them after we did the book. They're not part of my Writer's Digest columns. And your buyer, when you're selling information products in general, but ebooks in particular, always include a bonus item. Every one of my ebooks comes with at least one bonus report, usually, in my case, 50 pages, with a retail price of $29. Here's another book that is one of my favorites. We did, and you guys got this with this program. This is the ebook, Writing Ebooks for Fun and Profit. Excluding the ones we gave away to you for free, we've sold to date 5,313 copies of this ebook for a gross sales of $103,297. So it's one of our better sellers. Number 4, I said you needed email to make sales. You needed emails to send to your subscriber list. Emails to send to your subscriber list to get them to buy the book. So here was an email. You could see that I sent it out on May 6, 2008. Look at the top. This one email generated 350 orders. I'm not sure of the size of my list at the time, but it was probably between 55 and 60,000 names, but I can't swear to that. It might be a little less, a little more. So this one email, when I'll reveal a secret to you, this email took me, I want to say, less than 10 minutes to write. Maybe, you know, did it really quickly. I made $6,650 from writing this email. And Mark Ford praised me when I sent out this email. He said he liked it because it reflected a writing principle that he teaches, And Denise knows this one very well, and some of you who read AWAI and used to read Mark's Early to Rise have heard this too. It's called the power of one idea. His theory is that an essay, an email, an article is more effective, stronger, if it has one idea. And the central idea of this one, he correctly identified, is that the ebook is the easiest, best, and most profitable product to sell online, bar none. And we say, why are ebooks the perfect information product to sell on the internet? And we list all the bullet points of why that is so. 100% profit margin, no shipping costs, no inventory to store, no printing, inexpensive. And so we sent this ebook to this email to my list and got 350 orders. Here's another email. This was a fun, it is a fun product. I decided a lot of my subscribers are copywriters and want to be copywriters and newbie copywriters. And I said, what could be useful to them? And the answer came to me that what I'm asked for all the time by copywriters is copies of the documents I use in my copywriting business. I'll get an email, several times a week. Can you send me your fee schedule, Bob? Can you send me the copywriting information kit that you send to your potential clients? Did you ever run any ads for your services, Bob? Can you send me some of those ads? Do you use a contract in your copywriting business? Could you send me that contract? And it's a lot of work for me to send that out, and I'm not sure that I should be sending that out free. I mean, those documents were developed at expense and trial and error. So what I did is I took all the documents, or as many as I could think of, that I use in my freelance copywriting business, and I just had a graphic designer, again for a couple of $100, put them into an ebook format. And we called it the Copywriter's Toolkit. So we sent out, I don't have the date on this email, but we sent out this email that began, Dear Direct Response Letter subscriber, for a limited time only, I am selling unlimited rights to all the forms and other documents I use in my copywriting business. And then I put the link where they could go to the website on the book and then described it. And the subject line, which got attention, was for sale, my copywriting business. This generated 210 orders at a price of $49 per book, and generated, for this email, which you can see is very short and simple, took me, again, less than 10 minutes to write, generated $10,290 in revenues. Here is the microsite or the landing page for the Copywriter's Toolkit. And in the left column, I wrote CR equals 10.9%. That means conversion rate on the landing page equals 10.9%, or say 11%. That means for every 100 people who clicked onto this landing page, 11% of them, a little more than 1 out of 10, purchased the product for $49. Notice some other things about the way I design a landing page. And again, this is not the way everyone does it. In fact, most people don't do it exactly this way. But this is a template that I've used for a long time and found very successful with very high click-through, not click-through rates, very high conversion rates. First, in the upper banner, I always put the same copy. Bob Bly, author of 70-plus books, and the man McGraw-Hill calls America's top copywriter, now shares with you, ... And the reason I do that is even though in the left column you see it says about Bob Bly, you want to establish your credibility right up front. For too many landing pages, you've seen them on the internet, of course, they're very hype-filled, and you don't know anything about the person writing them, so you don't know whether they're qualified to give you advice on this niche topic or not. I want to overcome the reader's inherent skepticism that they have online, which is even stronger than the skepticism they have offline when watching TV commercials or reading newspaper ads, if anybody still does that. And I do that with what we call this pre-head. with this credibility. We call it a credibility pre-head. Underneath, you notice 3 blue buttons: Order Now, Affiliate Program, Free Newsletter. So if someone looks at this and says, I want this, we don't force them to read the whole page and scroll down to find the order button. They can click Order Now right up front. If they want to become my affiliate to sell it to their list, they can click Affiliate Program. And if they're not interested in buying the book, but say, I want to be on this guy's newsletter list, they can click Free Newsletter. Then we have a headline, the purpose of which is to get attention, and we say Bob Bly's $1 Million Copywriter's Toolkit. And then the subhead is designed to draw them into reading the body copy. And the technique we used here is clarity. When you have something that you think is unique, and at the time I was the only copywriter selling a collection of forms used in his business, and to my knowledge I still am. Maybe one of you will tell me, oh no, I bought forms from John Carlton or Michelle Fortin, but at the time I was the only one doing it. So I just said what it is, with no embellishment, no fancy persuasion. Ready-to-use copywriting forms, checklists, model contracts, boilerplate agreements, sales letters, copywriter's roughs, and every other document you need to start and run a successful 6-figure freelance copywriting business. Then I wanted to put into the lead, I wanted to put into the reader's mind the idea that it's smart to buy forms, collections, templates in your business. So I say almost all small businesses use a variety of forms, letters, etc., to manage their marketing, sales, so-and-so. For many businesses, such as rental property owners, you can buy forms customized for that industry. And then I go on from there to say now you can do that for copywriting. I talked about those websites, those landing pages that were full of hype. And here's one I encountered, and it took me about 18 seconds, because I'm slow, to realize this is a spoof. This is someone's idea of a joke. But I thought it was quite funny because it had a lot of the techniques you see on landing pages. And he says, you can tell I'm serious because I use lots of exclamation points. And then he has 5 exclamation points. And I'm going to introduce you to an opportunity so lucrative that I have to use ass-ugly fonts. And the point is that a lot of these landing pages do have a high degree of hype, which is why, as we looked at earlier, you want to establish your credibility first. One thing I didn't mention is you'll notice my landing page for the toolkit has a 2-column format. Most landing pages are 1 column, like we just looked at. The main column is under Dear Copywriter, but running down the left is a column that says About Bob Bly, and it has a bio, and then after a 5 or 6 paragraph bio, it says what people say about Bob Bly, and it's got endless testimonials about me that run the entire length of the landing page. So it offers a huge amount of proof that you're reading as you're reading the sales letter. So it's always in front of you. Here's another landing page, and this is for the product we talked about earlier, how to write and sell ebooks for fun and profit. And again, the landing page is similar. The copy is similar to the email. I often find if I've written a landing page and I think the headline and lead are strong, I'll often cut and paste that into a Word file and make my email that way. So it's the world's easiest and most profitable product to create and sell online. An ebook is the ideal product to sell on the internet, and now you can create your first ebook and start making money by selling it online in 90 days or less. And that coincides with what you don't see here. I always have a 90-day money-back guarantee. So I use that here. I say, I'm guaranteeing you'll be able to do this in 90 days, and if you don't agree, let me know within 90 days, and you get your money back and you still keep the book. So it's a can't-lose proposition. You'll also notice in the upper right corner under the blue banners, there's a video. I've increasingly added to a lot of my landing pages short, illustrated, 90-second videos that gain attention. And the purpose of them is when we add videos to my landing pages, we find it usually, not always, but usually increases conversion rate in the neighborhood of 10 to 15%. Doesn't give me a 10 to 15% conversion rate, but whatever it was, it increases it 10 to 15%. So it's worthwhile. And if you go to, when you're done with this session, if you go to myveryfirstebook.com, you click on that site, and this video will open and play for you, so you can see how they're constructed. So some points to ponder about the ebook business. Most of us trade time for money, and that includes, for the most part, freelance copywriter. I mean, it's great. I'm always writing copy. I love copywriting, but I'm writing a big financial magalog now, and when I'm not working on it, I'm not getting paid for it. After I work on it, I'll send a bill and I'll get paid, but you get paid for your labor. In this case, with ebooks, and that's called active income, by the way, getting paid for your labor. Dentists are that way, for example. As highly paid as they are, dentists, they have an expression: if you're not drilling and filling, you're not billing. They only get paid when they work. That's active income. Ebooks are passive income. As you've seen, there's a lot of work to do up front. You've got to write, design, and produce the PDF for the ebook. You've got to get a domain name, put up a website for the ebook, create some emails to generate sales, start building a list so you can market your ebook. There's a lot of stuff. I talked about that I always give a bonus report whenever I sell a product, which I know increases response rates. So you've got to create that bonus report. So there's a lot of work with ebook marketing up front. So anybody who tells you it's no work, it's easy, and you see some promoters on the internet saying that, it's not true at all. In fact, there's a lot of work up front, and as you're doing that work, you're not getting paid a dime. Nobody pays you to sit in your office and write your ebook because you haven't sold any. With passive income, however, once you set it up, then you can start selling it without labor. People, for example, will find your landing page through referrals or through searching on the topic or on your name. That's one way people get to your landing page. So you're doing nothing, and people start landing on your landing page, and they start ordering your ebook. I heard a couple of pings while we had this conference, and I got 3 orders for different products during I guess the 47 minutes or so we've been talking so far. So you can make money. It's true what they say. You can make money while you sleep. And the product keeps making money for you year after year after year. So products can be passive income. Services are most often active income. Then you have to decide if you're going to do internet marketing. You want to sell information or merchandise. The rule of thumb is merchandise businesses are more complicated. You have to source the merchandise. You have to store an inventory of the merchandise. You have returns. With information products, especially ebooks, there's no storage of inventory. You create the product yourself, and it's a unique product. I mean, if you decide to sell cigarette lighters, you'll probably be selling the cigarette lighters that 20 other merchants are selling. I was looking into a chemistry set recently, you know, I looked at 10 websites, and I found, hey, said, this is great, 10 different people selling chemistry sets, but they were all the same set. They're all, because there's not a lot of manufacturers of chemistry set. So you're selling the same product. With an ebook, you're the only one who has that particular ebook. You are totally, you have a monopoly in that ebook, not in the topic, but in the ebook. To give you an example of that, other people can sell forms of copywriting forms, but I'm the only one who can sell Bob Bly's copywriting forms and templates. I'm the only one, and some people want that. You can make significant income I make several $100,000 a year from my ebook and other information product marketing. And I rapidly got up. After I started, probably within 24 months, I was at the $200,000 a year mark. So within 18 to 24 months, you definitely could be making a six-figure income, $100,000 a year after a year and a half, year and a half, 2 years is totally realistic and within the price range, within the range of what's possible. There are low startup costs, and we looked at that. It's especially because you guys are writers, you can do a lot of the work yourself and don't have to pay people for most of this. And the technical services you buy are really not expensive. You can do this in your spare time. If you have a day job, I consider myself to have a day job. I'm a copywriter. I only devote maybe to my internet marketing business an hour a day or less, and not every day. So you can definitely do this in your spare time. There's low overhead. There is some overhead. You know, I have domain hosting, for example, but it works out cheaply. It's only like per landing page comes out to something like that, less than 50 cents per landing page per month. Of course, you multiply that by over 100 landing pages, you know, it adds up, but it's still only like $79 a month. There's no inventory to keep. And when I was in the old days, before ebook marketing, I sold physical information. I sold special reports that were literally photocopied and stapled together, 10, 15-page reports. I sold audio cassettes. There was no downloadable MP3 files. And I sold physical books, paperback books. And I had to keep all that stuff in my house somewhere. So there's inventory. And inventory ages and can get damaged. There's no physical labor with ebooks. At the end of every day with our offline, what we called our mail order business back in those days, you know, in the 90s, we, at the end of the day, had to pack all the products we were sending out in envelopes, and someone had to pick them up, put them in a box, and actually take them to the post office, which took time, and if there was a lot of orders, it was heavy. Writers are the kings of content. So ebook marketing is a content business, and as a writer, you have huge advantages over other people who want to get into this business. And many people do today. It seems like everybody wants to get rich selling ebooks, but you guys can really do it. And of course, as an AWAI student, you can write your own copy because you know how. And top copywriters today will charge anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000, $3,000 to $7,000 to write a long copy landing page for an information or direct response product. So you can save a lot of money. Here are just a few helpful resources. If you need website hosting, on the left column, hostgator.com. If you need a shopping cart, I recommend bobsbestcart.com. And I'll give you full disclosure. If you buy your shopping cart at bobsbestcart.com, I get a little money, a little commission from the shopping cart maker. I use for my website design, to design my landing pages, filipinowebmasters.com. And if you want to buy a domain, again, if you go to bobsbestdomains.com, I make a few pennies by reselling domain names to you from a major domain name supplier. And I don't keep it any secret, it's GoDaddy. So I thank you for attending today's webinar. Denise, if we have any questions, I'll take them. Just to give a preview of next week, we are going to devote the entire session to building your e-list. And look at, I'm going to go into very specific step-by-step how-to instructions on not every e-list building strategy, because that would take a day, but on my 3 to 4 or 5 favorite ones, and show you exactly what I did and exactly the results I got. And some of these strategies have, in a period as little as 48 hours, added 1,000 names to my e-list, and you can do them too, no problem. They are not difficult.
And you have some guests along with you next week, Bob,
Yes.
To show how they're building their lists and their...
And they do it differently than I do, so I'm very anxious, or anxious is the wrong word, I'm very eager to see what Steve and Mindy are going to tell us. Because again, there's probably dozens, it's not wrong to say that there are dozens of ways to build a list, and I only, use, half a dozen or maybe 6 to 8 of them. And so these guys use other ways, so you'll learn more methods.
Terrific. We do have a few questions. Here's one. I think you talked about this before, but in general, how long or how many words should free reports be, the ones you give away for folks who sign up?
There's no rule there. They could be as short as 2 sides of a single sheet of paper. In other words, you could create a 2 to 3, you could create what we call a mini report. 2 to 3 pages in 12-point Times Roman type as a PDF, and that's sufficient if the title is really attractive and the topic is of great interest. But my advantage is that I own, or I have, a lot of already pre-written content on my niche topic of marketing. So what I'm able to do is I bundle articles I've already written for Target Marketing Magazine and DM News and Business Marketing Magazine. I pick them out, I send them to my designer, and we bundle them, and we've decided to make our average report 50 double-spaced pages. And again, we sell those on the website for $29, and people, when they buy them, are very happy with them and do not return them or do not ask for a refund. But so my bonuses are big. But there is no need for that. Your bonus does not have to be big.
Excellent. Marty's wondering if your landing pages are part of the primary website, but are they hidden from view for people who are just visiting your site for other purposes?
Yes. My site primarily, and this is where I'm a little different than some of the people who are solely information marketers. My primary business, as you know, Denise, is freelance copywriting, and my primary website, Bly.com, is designed to support that. So there is a button on the bottom of a link on the bottom of the home page that says products, and there's another one that says click here for all of Bob's products. There's a couple of links, and so you can get to the list of my products that way, but it's a little hidden because I don't want people to focus on buying an ebook when they come to my site. I want them to focus on asking about my copywriting, services. So in that case, in that instance, mine is a little different than it would be like for Joe Vitale, who's primarily an information marketer. He's also a consultant and a copywriter, but he's more interested in selling his information products. His site, which I think is MrFire.com, is geared more toward selling his various books and ebooks and seminars and information products.
Good. Okay, here's another. It's about animated videos. Do you use a particular software to create those videos, or do you hire someone else to do that?
See, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Don't ask me, do I use a particular software, because the answer is I don't do it myself. I always hire someone, and there are a bunch of vendors out there. If you search animated video production, you'll find them easily. And I think if you look on my website, Bly.com, you'll see at the bottom there's a button that says vendors. If you click on that, and then it's organized by category, if you then look under video sales letters, you'll find the guy I use for my animated videos. And so I recommend using a vendor. I'm sure there are software products, but again, not being a do-it-yourself guy and never handling any of the technical stuff, I can't tell you what they are.
Right. And that's smart, Bob.
I think so.
Do you know what service you use to merge your e-list of names into your email?
We use a service called Constant Contact. We give them the email copy, and they merge it into my e-list and distribute it.
And what do you think of the idea I guess Marty's seen this, of using the salutation, "Dear Direct Response Letter Subscriber," as your
Well, it would be better to say "Dear Marty." But when I first built my list, see, you always, if you don't start off doing things right, you can like never make up for them. So when I started building my list, I didn't ask for their name. I just took their email address. That was really stupid. I can't go back now and ask everyone, give me your name. So that's why we use a stock or generic salutation, because we, in 90% of the cases, we do not have the name. Now we ask for the name, but we didn't back then.
Sarah wants to know about pricing. I think she was fascinated with your 2 to 3 year 6-figure observation. Given how little people pay for Kindle books these days, can you still charge $29 to $39 for the ebooks?
There is a yes, and here's why. There's 2 reasons. The first reason isn't as strong as the second reason. The first reason is that there's a perception that PDF ebooks are more valuable because they're on more specialized topics. In other words, when you sell a Kindle ebook, you're in an environment called Amazon where something called a book, you know, if it's a paperback book, is only $12. So you're sort of forced into that price niche. When you're selling an ebook, you're selling it off your own website. Amazon doesn't control the description. You can write the strongest sales copy you can possibly conceive of to sell and push that book, and by doing so, you can add the copy itself in your landing page, can add the perception of value to your book until people think it's worth a lot of money. Like on my landing page for my Copywriter's Toolkit, we say something in there to the effect that you know, these forms, you know, took me 25 years to develop and perfect, and if I was to do them for you from scratch, I'd charge at least $25,000. If you were to have a lawyer do them, you'd probably be looking to pay $400 to $500 to $1,000 each, and there are 70 forms in the book. I'm charging you only $49. Look what a bargain that is. So and you can't do that on Amazon. They generally, you know, you generally can't do that. They use, their copy is serviceable but not very strong, and so they don't sell the product as hard as you would on your website.
Yeah, good point. Have you ever worked with BookBaby?
I have no idea what BookBaby is, I'm sorry to say.
Me neither. So the answer would be no. Here's one. Until we get established as experts in our fields, what should we use to establish our credibility in the About section of the website link?
The way, I actually have a program, and maybe, Denise, at some point we can do an AWAI webinar on this topic, how to establish yourself as an expert or a guru in your field. Again, because I've done it. But the short answer is the way you establish yourself as an expert is in one of 2 ways, and actually both of them are better. First is you disseminate information on your topic. If you want to establish yourself as an expert in parenting because you want to sell parenting ebooks, write articles for Parents Magazine. That credential will help establish you as an expert. When I started off as a copywriter, I had really no credential. First thing I did, I called New York University and offered to teach a copywriting course. And for some reason they said okay. And so therefore in my bio it said Bob Bly, a copywriting professor at New York University, and it went a long way to establishing my credentials as the expert. The other way you can establish your credentials as the expert is to do something that other people haven't done. Like I know Josh Boswell is starting to, in addition to the marketing stuff he does, is starting to teach parenting and relationships. And he's an instant expert because he has 10 kids. Other authors are not going to have 10 kids just to match him. So he's got an unassailable position.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I think that would be a great session, Bob. We should hire you to do that one of these days.
Yeah, just let me give one other example. You know, Robert Allen was nobody. And then he sent a press release out to the newspapers. He said, you could drop me anywhere in the United States with a $10 bill in my pocket, no wallet, nothing else, and I would be able to buy a piece of real estate, no money down, in 48 hours. Some newspaper took him up on it. It was a major paper, and he did it. If he would have failed, people would have forgotten about it. But doing it, that made him.
Wow. Impressive. Okay, it looks like you've answered all the questions for today, Bob.
Great.
So that means we're all gathered back together next week for the e-list, and then I want to encourage everybody to start working on samples of your copy, because we'll be looking at some of that in another couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that's important because in a couple of weeks, session 4 is for you. It's not, I don't have my stuff prepared. It's for us to review what you've done and make suggestions. So it's probably the most valuable session, but if you don't submit anything, you don't get value out of it, or as much value.
And we'll send out an email about what Bob is looking for that session. I'll send that out next week. But in the meantime, ladies and gents, good luck with the ebook review of your program, and please join Bob next week when we look at building your list.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Bob. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.